Thank you all so much. Good morning. I appreciate you being here. I'm so excited for Habitat for Humanity of Deep East Texas and where we are and how that we've come to today to stand on this piece of property to welcome families into affordable housing in the future. And we have a lot to be grateful for, a lot of people to recognize that have participated in this along the way. I won't be able to say all their names today, but I will just kind of give you that acknowledgement. Thank you so much. We're going to put the shovel in the ground for a new foundation for today's vision for families and our neighborhood and all of Deep East Texas. Y'all, I'm not good at reading off the script, but I know there was some things on here I wanted to say, so I'm going to look back and forth at it. I want to bring up Pastor Jacob Fitzgerald with Denman Avenue Baptist Church. Denman Avenue Baptist Church is the reason that we're standing here today and going to build these homes. They have been so gracious several years ago to donate this property to Habitat, and I know that the congregation is so excited and the leadership to see this day come. So if you'll do invocation for us and say a few words.
Sure. And then one thing I would say, Miss Melissa, is that we need to give all of our gratitude to Jesus because he is really the reason why we're standing on this property. And so we're grateful for him. This all began with a man named Charles Roberts, who was a pastor of Denman Avenue Baptist Church for 34 years. He planted his family here. He fell in love with this community, and he led our church to purchase this property in the 1980s. 9 years ago, I came back to my hometown of Lufkin to pastor, and we just, as a church family, felt like we wanted to express to our community that we love our community, we love the world, and we want to be here, there, and everywhere with the love of Jesus. So that's why we're here today. And I'm grateful for your presence. I hope you'll join us alongside Miss Melissa to make this become just an empty lot to 10 houses that can change the lives of families forever. And that is a wonderful thing. Let's go to the Lord and give him gratitude and praise.
We're here. The Chamber is honored to stand here and to stand beside you and to stand beside these families because we are making something more than a house. We're making the promise of a future, and the promise of a future not only for adults but for children. And that's why we're all here. We want to see families grow and prosper. And so it is our greatest honor to see Habitat back and to see it strong and to see the future and that the future is bright, not only for your organization, but for our community and for the family. So congratulations.
And tell me why you wanted to come out to this event today.
Well, I wanted to be here today to celebrate this really milestone occasion for both Habitat Humanity and for the community here in Lufkin. I mean, this is an exciting event. You know, one of the biggest challenges that we face, not just here locally, but really across the country, is access to affordable housing. And the work that Habitat Humanity does here in Deep East Texas, both in Angelina and Nacogdoches County, you know, to try to provide additional offerings for families and individuals to have access to affordable housing is something that we need to support and applaud. And so I wanted to be here today to certainly show my support on this ceremonious occasion.
Do you think specifically in your district, you know, we kind of need more affordable housing like this?
Certainly. As I said, affordable housing is one of the biggest challenges that we face throughout East Texas and really across the country. And so the more that we can do to support organizations such as Habitat for Humanity that are really called to help in that mission to provide and promote access to affordable housing, certainly that's something that we should support. And so again, I'm excited to be here today to partner with all of these individuals and with Denman Avenue Baptist Church, who really should be applauded for their vision in really making this happen today by donating this land. And so I certainly want to express my deepest gratitude to Denman Avenue Baptist Church and the leadership, as well as all of the parishioners that attend there.
And talking about the church, a lot of it is to thank God for. How does that kind of play with your feelings on it? Well,
absolutely. As a man of faith and living in a community that we're blessed to call home with a lot of Christians and faith-based individuals, I think this right here, what we're seeing today with Denman Avenue partnering with Habitat Humanity, it's the perfect example of the Great Commission. and treating our neighbors as we would want to be treating, especially neighbors that are in need. So I'm extremely proud to see Denman Avenue really putting their foot out for Christ in this neighborhood, in this community, and certainly they deserve recognition for us being here today.
And then Habitat for Humanity of Deep East Texas is a nonprofit organization that serves Angelina and Nacogdoches counties. We build affordable housing and homes for low to mid-income families, and we also have a repair program that we can do repairs to homes for low to income families as well.
And this Denman Heights Subdivision, how did that kind of come about?
Denman Heights Subdivision came about when Denman Avenue Baptist Church was gifted the land, and they saw a need in the community to house families and give them stability and security through housing. And so Denman Avenue Baptist Church spoke with Habitat for Humanity and determined that it would be a good fit for us to build those homes and to bring those families in, and they could partner with us in doing so.
How many houses have y'all built in Angelina County?
Habitat for Humanity has been an organization for 31 years, and over that 31 years, we've built around 25 homes throughout Angelina County.
And you know, how does this kind of come about? Is it donation wise, or you know, kind of sponsors from the community?
Hang on a second, let me get my first words. Funding to build a new house comes from many different avenues. Our local community is a huge supporter. We rely on donors and sponsors throughout the community. We also have grant funds and state and federal funding that we can apply for. It's not guaranteed. So in-kind donations for building materials and volunteers helping with their time also help get the house built for an affordable price.
Absolutely. And for the people who have been able to get a house through Habitat, how has their lives kind of changed?
Habitat homeowners experience a big change when they move into their own home that they owned. Oftentimes they've moved from a renting situation that the rent was too high for their income needs, and it may have been a home that really wasn't as good a quality as that family needed, or they were housed in a small home and they had an extensive size family, and so children may have had to sleep together in the same bedrooms. Many children may have had to stay together in bedrooms, and so with Habitat we are able to help homeowners look at their income, determine what's affordable to them, help them see their debt to income ratio and reduce their debt, educate them through an education program. Homeowners learn financial wellness along with their health wellness. They learn to take care of their homes through our education program. Homeowners put in sweat equity and they spend time building their own home, helping others build their homes, and then working within the community, volunteering their time at other nonprofits oftentimes. Children are able to qualify with sweat equity hours based on their grades at school and their participation. When you think about families with children and knowing that they're in a home that they're comfortable in, that they're secure, that they know that this is home to them throughout their childhood and not have to worry about moving somewhere else and have plenty of space to grow and play, it helps so much with their education. They're more likely to graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, find a good profession that is a passion for them, and they have options and opportunities they may not have had, as well as growing up in a neighborhood full of other families that are excited and loving and just feeling that nurturing ability. That's what Habitat does.
So tell me a little bit about how the church came to partner with Habitat.
Awesome, yeah. So I arrived at Denman Avenue about 9 years ago, and we had purchased a piece of property adjacent to our church in the 80s, and that property had been in our we had owned it for a long time, and we wanted to use that property to be a part of our mission here, which is to love people in our community with the grace of Jesus. And we put before our church family the possibility of gifting that property to Habitat for Humanity. And our church family welcomed that, and they all elected unanimously to establish a relationship with Habitat for Humanity and give that property to them.
As a pastor, I'm sure you hear a lot about different people's lives around Angelina County, especially. Yes. How does affordable housing kind of impact your congregation?
Oh, yes, yes. So we are inside the loop here in Lufkin, and we are surrounded by daily examples of the need for adequate housing. We have ministries that reach into the local apartment complexes and the local neighborhoods to reach children and families and build relationships with them that go beyond just the church walls. And in that ministry, we have noticed that there is a great need for housing. And just knowing that we as a church family can not only impact those families spiritually, but also impact them generationally by being a part of a movement that gives adequate housing. That is definitely a part of the mission of our church.
Mm-hmm. And Habitat also has the same mission of involving God and
Yep.
how important that is. How does that play into the church's role with it?
Yeah, so not only are we partnering with Habitat to build houses, but we're partnering with Habitat to build lives, and that's a part of their core values. And so we foresee the opportunity to have kids ministry mission trips locally to go over and participate alongside their children, not only with yard work or projects to sustain or build the houses, but to invite them to be a part of what God is doing here as a church family. And so we see this neighborhood as a component, a partnership of what God's doing in our lives and what God's going to do in their lives. And so we're just really excited about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My last question to you is, how important do you think having housing is for these communities?
Yeah, so there is something to be said about having a home. There's something to be said about having a home church. There's something to be said about having a home to go home to after you go to work, kids to go home to after school. And so you can never underestimate or overestimate the value of having stable housing, stable homes. And so this is something that can be a part of their kids' lives, that can transform them at school, their relationships, but also be handed down from generation to generation, that creates stability in their families from a generational standpoint. And that also provides spiritual opportunities from a generational standpoint to see them grow in knowing God, which is ultimately our goal.